Hello. Topic group 5 discussed was endangered species. Within this group, there was Mel, Jenny, and myself, Kelly. This report will be going to our technical writing class and Professor McElwee, and anyone else who might be interested in learning about this topic. Since 1966, the endangered species list has been going around the world, collecting more species on the threat of becoming extinct. There's a line that needs to be drawn at when enough is enough. When we see this list, our goal should be to getting them removed because every species has its own job to do here on this world, and we should be grateful for everything they provide for us. One of the biggest accomplishments was getting our country's bird, the bald eagle, off the list. Still, with laws and regulations set, they are not threatened to become extinct. In order to prevent these issues, people need to start realizing what we are doing to our home. Animals on the list is a threat to our environment because the supply what they provide for us is something that we need. Aside from needing them, the biggest issue is the environment and climate change. But with that being said, we are contributing to the issue and it needs to be changed or have a different outlook from most people. If you would like to follow along on the slides, please do so and reference back to the table of contents if needed. Introduction. Our ecosystems depend on our animal species and their foundations. Having the endangered species list lets us know that our ecosystem is slowly falling apart. All in all, this is a very serious matter that gets overlooked, and this report is here to inform and hopefully show that a constant small change from all of us can help our ecosystems. What are species? Species is a group of organisms that share genetic heritage and are able to interbreed and to create offspring that are also fertile. This has been changed several times regarding what species actually are. There are many barriers, factors, and genetics that make up species. Endangered species. As we learn, a species are all that can create offspring. These are types of species that are going extinct. Many are endangered and being threatened because of loss of habitat, agriculture, industry, and housing development. Also, genetic variation causes this to happen. Bringing exotic animals in to different territories can bring diseases that are harming the species that are already in that area, who cannot fight off these diseases. The importance of endangered species. The endangered species list explains how our ecosystem is maintaining itself. The ones on the list, just like every other species, contribute to our life cycle as humans or other organisms. Species are plants, coral, land animals, amphibians, and so many more. Our plants provide us with our oxygen and bees with the pollen to help maintain our crops and fields, and coral does the same for our sea life. Travelers and tourists like to take these organisms as souvenirs, voluntarily suffering ourselves and harming all places around us. Four categories of endangered species. The four categories of endangered species are vulnerable, endangered, critically endangered, and extinct in the wild. Each group has its level of being threatened or harmed. The red in the chart to the right is the risk of extinction, and everything below is slight risk or no risk at all right now. What animals are endangered? The most popular endangered species are sea turtles, elephants, and rhinoceros. Sea turtles are at risk because of all the trash and plastic being dumped in our oceans, and they are digesting it, getting caught up in it, and suffering from all of the dump. Elephants are becoming endangered or have been endangered because of being poached illegally for ivory trade, and rhinos have have had habitat loss and capture for exchange or selling of their horns. Endangered Species Act. The Endangered Species Act was set in 1973, primary law in the US to this day to protect our species that are becoming endangered every day. This has been in effect for over 40 years and doesn't look like it's going to be changing anytime soon. Population restrictions. Big issue in this topic is having population restrictions, which brings only negative effects. With these restrictions on population, we lose the breeding species. Also, human activity leads to loss of genetic variation. For example, inbreeding is a form of genetic variation to the endangered species. So, how can we help? There are a few things that highlight the change we can make. Using pesticides that are not harmful to any animals, slowing down in developed areas so that those who are crossing the road can get to where they need to be and we don't risk their potential of being endangered. This is a big thing for other countries as they have different animals besides us here in the US, such as the smaller animals. They do have other larger wildlife who are unfortunately on the endangered list at the moment. We can also recycle and reuse most of our things, especially paper. We can resort to using recycled paper to save most of our trees, which will provide the living space for those who live in forests and everything like that. So we don't have to worry about deforestation or cutting down the trees and ruining their habitat. We can also be using reusable grocery bags to help with many things and using those bags to assist in other things as well instead of using the plastic bags that we just typically throw away. Leaving a smaller footprint for all can help in many ways, and by doing so, our personal footprint can be limited by walking more or using public transportation. Also, using less water when showering and turning off the lights when not in use. Conclusion. Endangered species are all around the world. Our own country's bald eagle has made its way off the list, fortunately, back in 2007 and only increased from there. They are remaining off the list because farmers have been forced to stop using DDT pesticide, and laws have been set to stop illegal shooting against the bald eagles. Sea turtles are unfortunately still on the endangered list of all kinds because they are being harmed by the trash that is being thrown into our oceans because we are failing to recycle. They're getting caught up in that trash and being stuck in digesting plastics and other things. They are also getting tangled up in fishing nets that are being left or just the boats that are out there who have their nets down and being poached for their skin and shells. Eggs are also at risk from being ruined by tourists and don't get to get their full life on the beach and get to hatch and reproduce, causing the issue of them being endangered and potentially going extinct. We need to protect our wildlife and take a stand. There's no burning in your area, don't burn. That just puts more threat towards our forests and other things, causing those animals to not have a home and become extinct or add more to the endangered list. We need to keep living, and that means protecting what we live in. Our life cycle needs to continue day by day. If you want to start now, you can visit or donate to the following foundations: the International Rhino Fund, World Wildlife Fund, Project Aware Foundation, and so many more. All of these go towards protecting our wildlife and the endangered species list and back up the Endangered Species Act of 1973. You can even purchase items from the following local businesses that were started to protect the wildlife as well: Pura Vida bracelets, who use recycled plastic to create their bracelets and go towards cleaning the beaches. For Ocean does about the same thing Pura Vida does. They do more with sea turtles directly and making sure that they are protected. And Tom's Shoes also provide many opportunities for helping our wildlife, and funds go towards those foundations and helping them do what they need to do with every purchase that you make. In the following pictures, if you would like to learn more and protect the wildlife, you can click over the picture and it will bring you to the link to know more about these companies and who they are and what they are about. Here, you can find our references for everything that we used and the information we collected. Also, with our bibliography, this is bringing you to the websites and information that we used for this presentation to inform you about everything that we would like you to know regarding the endangered species. Thank you.